Hello, Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to another installment in this series, Sefer Jonah, verse by verse, select commentaries. This week we'll be doing Jonah 1:9 with the comment of the Ibn Ezra. Again, this series is a companion series to my other series on Jonah, Sefer Jonah, verse by verse. That series is an exclusive to my patrons over on Patreon. What I do in that series is I go through each verse, I describe all the points of grammar, and I relate them back to where those points of grammar are discussed in the first Hebrew primer. If you're interested, all it takes is becoming a patron to gain access to that series. Support at any level, as little as $1 a month, will gain you access to that series. Okay, so if you're interested, follow the links in the details below. Also, if you feel that this content is interesting, I wish you would consider subscribing to this channel. If you have not already done so, click the bell icon if you want to receive updates. Okay, Sefer Jonah. We're doing Jonah 1, verse 9. Okay, a little bit about the Ibn Ezra. His full name was Avraham ben Meir Ibn Ezra. Abraham, son of Meir. Ibn Ezra had become by that point a bit of a family name. Literally, Ibn in Arabic means son of. So they had some ancestor that was worthy of becoming the name for the entire clan. So the Ibn Ezra family is a known thing. Several illustrious writers came from this family. With Avram being perhaps the most well-known and broadly studied. Okay, his years were 1089 or 1092 through 27th of January of 1164 or 23rd of January 1167. So you see, we deal with these medieval characters. Sometimes their exact dates become a little murky. Very fine wiki can be found with this following link. I'll put that in the details below if you want to read up on the Ibn Ezra. Also, a very fine lecture on the life and the work of the Ibn Ezra. Dr. Abrahamson, Henry Abrahamson, he's a lecturer here on YouTube. He does fine work. Follow this link if you want to hear a lecture about the Ibn Ezra's life. Okay, so the Ibn Ezra, just by way of quick introduction, Ibn Ezra has a reputation for being on the more of the rational side of commentators. He tends to focus on language, on grammar. In fact, he wrote extensively in the area of grammar. He also had a bit of a mystical side. He dabbled in philosophy, astrology. Science was an interest. Science and mathematics was an interest. Astronomy. He's frequently, in the medieval iconography, he's frequently pictured with scientific instruments. Here he is holding a globe with a compass. Here in this image here, he is seen, this is him with his head covered. He's seen with astronomical instruments measuring, and here his non-Jewish students taking down notes. So this is in recognition of how big of an influence he had, even amongst the non-Jews, in matters of secular learning. He was very well respected. Okay, so, however, we will be looking at his one of his comments on this verse. Okay, let's go ahead and read this verse. This is Jonah 1:9. V'yomer Elohim, and he said to them, Jonah said to them, Ivri Anochi, I am a Hebrew. Ve'es Hashem Elochei Hashemayim, and Hashem, the God of the heavens, Ani Yoreh, I fear. Asher asa et hayam, who made the sea, ve'et hayabasha, and made the dry land. Okay, one more time. V'yomer Elohim, he said to them, Ivri Anochi, I am a Hebrew. Ve'et Hashem, and Hashem, Elo He Hashemayim, the God of heaven, Ani Yoreh, I fear. Asher, who, or that, Asa et hayam, who made the sea, Ve'et hayabasha, who made the dry land. Okay, so in the previous verse, the sailors had all sorts of questions, and they closed off with the final question, Emeze am ata, from which people are you from? And Jonah answers the last question first, and then he goes on to describe exactly who he is. So the Ibn Ezra is going to describe exactly what Jonah was trying to convey here. Okay, v'yomer, v'heshiv lahem, and he replied to them, al ha'acharon, on the last one, the last question. Shehu mibnei Ever, that he was from the children of Ever. Hanichroim, they were called so, Ivrim, Shehem al Amunat Ever Harishon. They're called Ivrim on account of their believing in the same belief, the religion of the first Ever. Now, who is this Ever? So those acquainted with rabbinic legend, rabbinic teaching, will know that there's Shem was the pious son of Noach, and then from Noach there was Shem, and then Shem had a son Ever. And there is this idea that there was a yeshiva, that there was some sort of institution or a place in which Shem and Ever kept the faith of Noah alive. And that this is called in rabbinic sources the yeshiva of Shem and Ever. Okay, so Ever was the grandson of Noach, and he is presented in rabbinic writings as continuing in the family faith. And this line from Shem onward would eventually be where Abraham would come from. And Abraham's faith was tantamount to the same faith as the one that Ever believed in. Okay, so this is one of the explanations as to why Ivrim are called Ivrim. They're named after Ever, son of Shem, son of Noach. That's one of the explanations. It's brought in the Midrash. Another of the explanations is that this simply means Ivrim were simply those who come from the other side of the Jordan. They crossed over from the Jordan into the land of Canaan, land of Israel. That's why they were called Ephraim. Okay, well, whatever the case, the Ibn Ezra is using that first option that I mentioned as to explain why he announces himself that he is an Ivri. Right, okay, so let's back up again. Shehu b'bnei Ever, he was from the children of Ever. Hanichroim shehem al amunat Ever harishon. They're called thus because they believe in the same faith as the first Ever. Shehu avi kol b'nei Ever, because he was the father of all of the children of Ever. Ve'en lo yira, and there is not to him fear. Rach me'Hashem shebarach milufanav. There's only the only possesses fear from Hashem, who he is fleeing from. V'hizkar Hashemayim v'ha'aretz v'hayam, and Jonah goes to the pains to mention the heavens and the earth and the sea. Why? V'hatam, the reason is ki eda, because I know ki hu oseh, I know that God makes, v'al hakol yimshol, and on everything God rules. He rules over everything. So I mentioned that I'm speaking through Jonah, Ibn Ezra speaking through Jonah here. The Jonah mentions that so as to let everybody know where he stands, which God he follows, who he is, what nation he is, what's going on, and he fled from God, and he knows that God controls everything. So this is why Jonah has sort of this resignation as to his fate, because he knows that God controls everything. Okay, that's an interesting Ibn Ezra. I hope you found it interesting. Hope you'll join me again next week for another verse, another commentator. I wish you the best. Kol Tuv, Haslach Rava. Keep learning.